I will read another horror book
Ah,
uh,
I
when I
see.
finish this book. Yeah. And now I feel interesting about horror.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks for sharing. And Trish, how about you?
Yes, I am reading an English book. It's a this book is this book's name is a complete book about of numerology.
Oh, numerology?
Yes, numerology.
Ah, I think I know this one.
Uh, the author is David A. Philip.
David A. Phillip.
Yeah.
On numerology.
Yes.
C- can can you tell everybody what numerology means?
Yes. Uh,
Or maybe give us an example?
mm, it's hard to describe because I have just started it for 2 days or 3 days.
I see.
Yes, uh, because it's about the when people calculate the date of birth.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and we will see the ruling number. Yes, and after that number is represent for the vibration of every of what character secret life of them. So
Yeah.
we figure out number through
Yeah.
the date of birth. Yeah, to discover uh, fate or destiny of a person. Yes.
And also I think they use a person's name too, right?
Uh, this part I haven't read it, so
Ah,
uh,
I
I
see.
just see the date of birth and the birth chart.
I see.
Uh,
Oh,
so maybe I think the name is one of the aspect too, but
yeah.
I uh,
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
yes.
It's a very old idea.
Oh, oh, what does this mean?
It's an old numerology is an old idea. It goes back
Yes,
from many years ago.
yes.
And how did you learn about this book?
Um,
From a friend?
no, because I'm surfing on YouTube and see some video about
Ah,
this. Yeah, and I think I will have interest in this. So I find a, a online copy. Yeah,
okay.
yes, to read. And I want to improve my English in reading, so I want to try it.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yes.
You'll have to let us know how it is in the future when you finish.
Yeah, maybe.
Tell me what my future is, yeah?
Okay. When I master in it.
About my name, and I'll tell you my birthday,
Yes.
and you tell me what my life will be like.
Yes. Make sure it exactly.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for
Yes.
sharing.
Yes.
Layla, how about you? Are you reading any books? Do you like to read books?
Yes, I'm reading this book. Its name. I'm reading this book again. Its name, the chemist, alchemist. Yes, you know. Do you know?
Yeah, it's quite a famous book, but
Yes.
it's particularly famous among the Vietnamese students.
Yes.
Yeah, I find this very interesting. Is this only the Vietnamese students, or is it very popular in all of Vietnam? Everybody likes this book?
Yes. It bring many motivation for me. Yes.
I see.
And I really love this sentence. When you want something, yes, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. Yes,
I see.
I love this sentence.
And so you are reading it now, or you finished reading it?
I'm reading it.
I see.
Yes.
And will you plan to read more books by this author after you finish this book?
Yes. I will read a book of author of Vietnam. Yes.
I see. Okay, and thanks for sharing.
Yes.
And how about you, Collins? Are you reading any books now?
Well, I just the last time I read book was like a few years ago. Now I don't read books because I have a problem. Like anytime I read books, even when someone or even myself comes to read, I will go to sleep immediately. So I didn't read book a lot much, but I think the last time I read is from an author, a Japanese author. His name is let me remember that. Oh, Ichikawa Takuji. He's a romantic author, and
I
he
see.
writes a lot of romantic stories that there is a lot of Vietnamese people know. Like at my age, I think a lot of them know. But those stories, they always have a sad ending.
I
So
see.
not everyone's like that. So
Can,
he has a lot.
can you type his name in the chat box? I'm
Uh,
I'm curious to know, but I don't know in my mind when you said the name.
okay, wait me a minute.
Colin, I've read
Catherine.
a book. Yeah. I've read a book of this author. Be with you, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's the same author? Ah, Ichikawa Takuchi.
Is it
Takuchi.
right, Colin? Be with you. Maybe in English name is You Will Come After a Rain.
Oh yeah, it's one of his, but I'm
Yeah.
not reading that one.
Yeah.
I'm reading the two. What was it they called? I Still Hear What You Call. Your Whisper. I think is that right? I don't know.
Ah,
And another one is The Way You Come Back. Always Have Me. I don't really know what to translate that. Like it's a very romantic stuff.
Yeah, very romantic and so interesting.
Yeah, and I think I read 3 of his too. So like it all had sad ending, but I still like it for some reason. And there was another one I think is from a Vietnamese author, and I think you might know. Let me type on the chat box. Her name is really the same with my best friend. So I'm really curious. It's Lê Minh Huế. Like there was one of her stories, like a short stories I put in the grade 9 book. So, and I was really curious because her name, like full name, really the same with my best friend full name, like nothing changed. So I read some of her stories, and I bought the what is that? What do they call the selected word, like the collection of her, like there is a collection that they put all together, her short story together, and then I bought that, and I realized that not just the faraway star is like a stories in the wall talk about the girl who's always do the bomb working. I don't know how to explain that. Maybe I read too much in Vietnamese. But some of her stories also talk about the woman who has worked from the war or after the war. That really made me curious about the previous life on the 18 and 19s in Vietnam too.
Interesting. Okay. Thanks for sharing about that. And how about you, Rami? What are you reading now?
Yeah, I am reading some book. Some of it about children education, and some of it about spiritual.
I see.
Yeah, and the last book I have already read is Emily and the Education. Yeah, it's written by Italian author.
I see.
And he's live in long time ago, about 250 years old.
I see.
Yeah, and the main content of is about the children education. That's right. Yeah, and many analogy about the grow up of a child from a childhood to the adult. Yeah, and it's very thick, and I have spent 1 month to finish it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but it's very useful for me.
So you like to read a lot of books about children's education?
Yeah, right.
I see. And do you have a book you plan to read next?
Yeah, I have just about a book named Awaken the Giant Within. Yeah.
Who wrote that book? I don't remember. It sounds familiar.
Daryl, I don't know. I don't remember exactly. Daryl.
Right. It's in English?
Yeah, this is an English author, but I borrowed the Vietnamese version.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds great. So, and then your next question is, who is your favorite author? Maybe we'll ask Catherine. Do you have a favorite author, Catherine?
There isn't any favorite author. I don't have any favorite author. I interested in books. It means I don't search or looking for books of a specific author.
I see.
Yeah, I interested in some books and I search it to read.
And what kind of books do you like to read? Fiction books or non-fiction books? You know the difference?
Non-fiction book.
I see.
Yeah. When I was a child, I was interested in a fiction book to discover the many things of the world. But now I'm not. I prefer non-fiction book.
So you prefer nonfiction, which is about real stories, about science,
Yeah,
about history, but
yeah,
it's stories that really happened.
yes.
Okay, so
I
nonfiction.
prefer, yeah, I
Yeah.
prefer non-fiction book now.
Okay, that's great. And how about you, Tom? Tom, do you have a favorite author?
No.
No?
Uh, to be honest, I don't care. Sorry, when I read the book, I don't care about. I don't care a lot. I don't care a lot about author.
Ah,
And then this is my a really bad guy. But um, I I have a Vietnamese author I really like. When I was young, when I was kid, I read a lot of I read a lot of book of him. That's a Nguyễn Nhật Ánh.
ah,
Uh, properly.
uh-huh.
So, from in Vietnam, and and I really like him. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
And so in general, what kind of books do you like to read? If you're going to read a book, you'd like to read a real story or something that is not real?
Um, I want to I want to read fiction book
Ah,
more than real book.
I see.
It's for instance, I really like
Ah, yeah.
horror, and really like a kind of story about Iceland.
Ah,
Iceland, yeah.
I see.
Uh,
But you know,
and
sometimes they have horror books that are real books too.
yeah, yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That's his name.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. And how about you, Trish? Who is your favorite author?
Yeah, yes, I don't have any favorite author.
I see. And but what kind of books do you like?
Yes, yes, I like a non-fiction book.
Nonfiction?
But sometimes I usually read some fiction book. Yes,
Ah.
especially like Chinese romantic novel.
Ah, I see. You like Chinese romantic novels.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
Interesting. They have a lot of good stories, the Chinese authors?
Now it's
Not so many?
I just read it for fun because it's it's as a teenager dream.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's very fun, and because when I read them, I can feel the opinion on something of a teenager or girl in China.
Ah,
Now, the standard to buy a guy, a guy that a little rich, and some and
I
Like
see.
a princess.
like aliens, because
Oh,
I think
gee.
these guys is not appear or exist in this world.
Oh, it's not like real people. Ah, I see.
Yes,
Ah, I see.
but it's very fun
Yeah,
to know the 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 Asian the culture or tradition in
yeah.
culture, yes, uh, from the Asian to the modern life. Yes,
Ah,
I
I see.
really love it. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for sharing. And Layla? Layla, how do you who's your favorite author? Do you have one?
I don't like any author the most. Yes.
So you don't have a favorite?
Yes. But one of my favorite book is Tony Buổi Sáng.
Oh, yes.
I
Some
like
people read that at
Tony.
Hama, yeah.
Yes, I like Tony. Yes.
Can you tell me more about this book? Because I know that it's very popular in Vietnam.
He
How many books has he written? Only one or more than one?
more than one. Yes.
Ah,
Two.
I think
two?
about 2 or 3. I read it. Yes.
Oh, I see.
Um.
And what are the stories about?
It I think motivation book. Yes.
Ah, I see. Like motivate you in your life.
Yes, and skill book.
I see.
Yes.
Okay, so they're like personal. I think we would call this like maybe in US we would say, or in English we would say like self-help books, maybe
Yes.
motivational books,
Yes.
motivational books, self-help books, self-improvement books.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Tony is very famous. He is a famous person, but no one know him.
Yeah, I've heard this
Yes.
before, right? Yeah. But is he so how did he become so popular with his book? Like, how does everybody know his book if nobody knows him? Because, you know, usually if I write a book, then I must go around and do interviews and talk to people and tell them about my story and why I wrote it and how I wrote it, what I'm thinking about, all of these things. And how do people know about his book? How can they learn about his book if nobody knows who he is?
Yes.
Because he wrote a lot of short story on the internet, and then publish company publish company collect them and put in a book, and now I know that they have 2 books. It is Cafe with Tony and On the Ice Way. Yeah, I don't know exactly the name. Đường băng. What does it mean?
Trên đường băng.
Yeah,
On the road. On the. Không nhớ cái từ đường băng là gì.
It's called On the Road.
Yeah.
No, on the
platform.
Ah, I see. Okay. And so so Tony published, or he posted his stories on like a Facebook page, and all these people viewed his Facebook page.
almost story.
Ah, I see. But Tony could be a woman.
No.
Not possible? Because in Tony in like the USA, we can say Tony it can be a man's name, because like many times people like my name Christopher, but my short name is Chris, and so people in the US with English names have like the name Anthony is a boy's name, right? Anthony, but the short name is Tony.
Yes.
But also you can call, you know, there are women also who are named Tony. So they wouldn't have the name Anthony, they would just have the name Tony. So, but in Vietnam it's not possible, because Tony is not a Vietnamese name, right?
Yes.
It's like an English name. So if it's an English name, how do we know Tony is not a woman?
Maybe.
Because if in the USA, if I'm looking at somebody's Facebook page and the name is Tony, If I don't know anything else, then I don't know if it's boy or girl, if it's man or woman. I don't know.
Because
Yes.
he's calls himself in Vietnamese name like the is a man. Yeah, a man.
I see. I see. I see.
Anybody
al-
don't know
although-
him.
Yeah, but although he said that every story in this book is unreal, just amazing. But reader can feel this book is other of this book is a man.
I see. You know, it would be interesting, you know, many years ago, before women could do these things, you know, society did not oftentimes let women be educated or do certain things, you know. And so sometimes women, they wrote a book and they said their name was a man's name. So then the book would be published as a man's name, but it was really written by a woman. You see, because they wouldn't publish her book if they knew it was a woman. So that's why I was thinking maybe Tony was a man who wanted to pretend to be a woman. That would be kind of a funny idea, a trick on people.
Yes, I think it's interesting to think that, because we don't know who really Tony really is. Yeah.
Or, you know, like in the US now, there are a lot of transgender people. People who are like half women, half man, half woman. So maybe Tony was born a boy, or no, was born a woman, but wants to be a boy.
Yes, maybe.
No, I don't know. I'm just saying anything is possible because we don't know.
Yes. Anybody don't know him.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing. So now let's see. Collins, do you have a favorite author?
My favorite author is also the author I just talked.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I just have a few search about him. There is a movie that I don't really know that it was based on his stories. Its name is Be With You. It's like talk about a woman who's a family, which who the mother has died from something I don't remember exactly, but then she told her son that she will come at when the rain, and then for some reason she just came back, and but she lost everything in her mind, like every memories. So I don't remember exactly the ending, but it was from two actors and actress that me and my mom really like. So I didn't know that it was his stories from the beginning. Like they remake it from the Japanese version. So when I searched it, I realized that it was based on his stories. I was so surprised. And I like him because sometimes I feel sad. I would like to read some stories that just go slowly, and then maybe it will be sad ending, but it will go slowly, like romantically and slowly.
Are Japanese writers, are Japanese stories and Japanese books, like authors, are they popular in Vietnam?
I think no, like a few of them, like some anime stories, like
see.
author of some comic books. I think they're famous.
I see. Because, you know, Japanese I've recently interested also in Japanese authors because I wanted to visit Japan, and so I would like to read some more about their culture and their writing and their arts and that sort of thing. And Japan has a lot of really good authors, a lot of really good
Yeah.
stories, and it's very
Yeah.
unique feel and style too. You know.
Yeah, some of them really good in writing some ghost stories.
Yeah.
like some, I just found this author really like accidentally. When I was in the bookshop, I was really curious about some romantic books. Like I think I always I read from Chinese romantic. It's kind of really famous with Vietnamese people, especially girls like us. But then I curious about the other author, and then I read the description about the book of his book, and so I buy 3 of them in one time, and then I realized that like it's so good. Like why didn't I found that easily like earlier?
I see. So, like for example, when you read and you're learning about literature, right?
Yeah.
And you're learning about different books in school in Vietnam. Are there classic books that you read like that are all by Vietnamese writers, or do you also study Chinese writers or Japanese writers?
I think Japanese is really few. Maybe they don't have, but some Americans, Germany, like some European. There is a lot, like the Tchaikovsky. Yes, like that, or maybe some Chinese. Chinese is quite like commons in Vietnamese student books, literature book. Like because it will lead to one of our stories, poem. So like because we copy and using the same genre, so like it going to lead to our, so we studied that too.
I see. And you all study the story, The Tale of Q, I think it's called? Q?
What?
The Tale of Q? You know this one? It's like Chuyen de Q. I cannot remember how to say this book though. It's like it's maybe 300 years old. It's very old.
I don't really. Oh.
You all study this? Yeah. You study this book in school?
Not much, I think. Not much, because most book will like cut off the parts of Trick Gyo. You know that? So like we studied that. Like talk about Gyo.
Yeah.
It's really famous.
Yeah.
Nguyen Du was the author, and we usually studied like the parts of his story, his poem. His poem had more than 3,000 lines. So we cut off some part and we studied them. Some of them we using it to take a test too. So we're really focusing on that.
And Chris, can you send to Colin the video of Truyện Kiều?
Yes.
It's so funny.
The video?
And it's so easy to know the content.
Yes. And you can find it on YouTube, Chris, because it have a English subtitle.
No? But how old is it? Is it like an old movie or new movie?
It's an animation.
Just a short video.
Excuse me, I think I watched that. Like it's Quang Thang. It's like the character who tells the story. Yes. I just watched it yesterday.
Just yesterday? Oh wow.
Yeah. Like it's really funny.
Yeah,
like,
really
it's
funny.
really funny, and it's not like the original. So it's like it makes you really easier to understand. The whole full story.
Yes. And you can find more information about Truyện Kiều. Like this is the first time I know Kiều in Beijing, not in Vietnamese. I
Oh,
thought before.
Yeah, it original
it's
is come from
Vietnamese.
Chinese.
Yes.
Yes.
It original is come from Chinese,
Yeah.
but then one
Đoạn trường Tân
time,
Thanh. Yeah. Đoạn trường Tân
yeah,
Thanh is
Now it's Kim Vân Kiều
Chinese
Truyện.
book,
Kim Vân Kiều Truyện.
but
both
the
of them, okay,
original.
both of them.
Yes.
I thought it was a Vietnamese author.
Yes.
Nguyễn Du found that when he's on a trip, I think. Like
Backpacker trip.
Oh, maybe
Yeah.
300 years ago, backpacker trip.
yeah. So
Oh, that's
like,
fun, huh? I see. Oh, okay. Well, sounds great. Yeah, I will maybe look for that, you know? I think that
but
sounds...
you know what? Don't read the poem. Don't
No.
read the poem. You will never understand that.
Ah,
Even I cannot understand that.
I see. So maybe the cartoon one is good for me.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Okay, okay. And so let's see. Remy, we're back to you. Who is
Yeah.
your favorite author? And yeah, do you like, what kind of books do you like?
Yeah, I have some favorite author, but I can introduce you. One of them is Portland author.
Huh?
Yeah. Her name is, I don't know how to. I will write it down to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rock. Chola. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Grochla?
Yeah.
Is this Russian?
No, I miss letter O.
Oh, Grochola.
Yeah.
So where is this person from? I don't know who this is.
Yeah. There are many people know her, but I like her writing style. It's very hilarious. Although she always write about the sad story.
I see.
Yeah, she is a fiction author, and I have read 3 books of her.
I see. And
Yeah.
they're in Vietnamese you're reading this, or what language are these books?
No, I have just read in Vietnamese version.
Ah.
Yeah, and one of them is named "You Will Know My Hand."
I see.
Yeah.
You will know my hand.
Yeah. This book talk about a woman who have already divorced
Okay.
her husband, and the way she overcome the difficulty when she when she should to be alone and take care her children. But it's so funny. It's so many. She write is the hilarious way.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of books do you like to read, though? Do you like to read like fiction books or non-fiction books?
Actually, I like both.
I see.
But recent years, I just focus to non-fiction book.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's when I was young, I read. I have read a lot of non-fiction book. No, fiction book.
Okay.
And one of my favorite book I love is Harry Potter.
Okay. But in English, though?
No.
Oh, come on, Remy.
Because I have learned English for 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering about these books, you know, because I never read the Harry Potter books, but I don't know if they're too hard or you know, like how much English you need for these books, because I think, you know, younger children read them
Yeah.
in the US, but I still think maybe it's too hard for our class.
But not for me, I think. I have 4 of them now.
Oh, you've read them in English?
Yeah.
And they're not too hard? I've never read them, so I don't know.
Well, like I understand it. I like try to understand the previous word. Some of the words I don't understand, so
I see.
sometimes I do have to use dictionary too. But it's really fun. Like
I
you could
see.
understand more about something that the Vietnamese could not give it to you. Like when they using Vietnamese to read it, there are some of the details like it's kind of a bit different from what I understanding in English and what they translated into Vietnamese.
Ah, I see. Okay, so let's see. What is our next question? Have you ever read a book that had a big effect on your life? So how do you think you have read a book that was very important in your life, Catherine?
I'm on the way to find my book that affect on my life. It means there is no books affect to me until now. Yeah. The books that I've read, it just affect a little on my mind, not my life.
I see.
Yeah. And last week, a person tell me about a book that affect his life, and I got a version of this book, English version of this book, and I think I will read. I will read it maybe next week or next week. Yeah.
Do you remember the name of the book?
Yeah, Awaken a Giant Within.
Oh, this one. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Awaken a Giant Within. Okay. And how about you, Tom? Is there a book that changed your life?
Yes. I read a book that changed my life a lot. That book I throw. Sorry. So that book I have told to everyone, that's a conversation with God, and it changed my life a lot. Yeah. So that book talk about a lot of problem in the world, and is impact every aspect in the life. So
I see.
yeah. So when I start reading that book, yeah, it changed my life a lot from that time.
And did you read it in school?
No, I read that when I come to my village.
I see.
When you come to my village, yeah.
Did the other students also read it? The other students at Hama, they read the book too?
Not only me.
Oh, I see.
I find it on the bookstore, on the bookcase.
Yeah, in the bookcase. Yeah.
Yeah, only me. Yeah,
I see. Okay.
And Tom, I have one on English version. So, do you want to have it? I will send to you in an e-book. The book you were told, conversation with God.
Yeah. You have.
I have one in English version.
Can you share it? Can you share it to me? Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So it's a good book. It's a good book, though, huh? I don't know this one. Maybe I will look into it.
Yeah, to me, that is the best book. Yeah, I have been read.
Ah, and it changed your mind and your thinking.
Yeah, it changed my thinking. It's not a it's not a kind of health self book.
Yeah, self-help.
Self book. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a talk about conversation with God.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
And Chris,
in-
Chris, if you want, I will send to you version.
Yeah, sure.
Ebook. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. I will look at it. Okay, Layla, how about you? Is there a book that changed your life or your thinking?
Yes. I think almost book I have ever read had a big effect on your life.
Ah,
I learned many lessons from this book.
I see.
This book, yes.
Uh-huh.
Mm,
Like, for example, can you do you have an idea, like what lesson did you learn?
um,
Maybe you learn to be a caring person, or you learn to be happy, or I don't know.
yes, I learned two way to live happy. Yes,
Ah,
and I changed my mind. About I help people more.
I see.
I believe in my life more. Yes, many
I see.
lessons. Yes.
That's great. That's nice to find a book like that.
Yes.
Yeah, it makes it fun to read.
Are you happy now, Lion?
I'm not sure.
Maybe you can reread your book. Right.
That's a good idea. That's funny.
No, I think because the reason of the way I think about my life. Oh,
I see. Okay, that's fair enough. That's good. And so, but who did you say that book was about again? Who was it written by? Who is the author? Who wrote this book?
Tony.
yes.
This is the Tony book.
Tony. The story, many story of Tony.
But
Yes.
you know, I don't think Tony knows English. So
Yes.
maybe Tony did not write a book for me in English.
Yes.
This is a big problem for me, Layla.
He speak English good, but he don't write it by English.
Maybe you will ask him on the internet. You can say,
Yes.
Tony, my friend wants to read, but you know, he doesn't know Vietnamese.
Yes.
And Chris, it means you should learn Vietnamese.
Yeah, well, I'm practicing. I'm still studying. But you know, it takes a long time. As you know, we are learning. English takes a long time. Vietnamese takes a long time.
Yeah.
We will help you.
You will help me?
Do you think about Vietnamese?
I like it. You know, I think it's fun to learn new languages.
Huh?
Fun to learn, yes.
Yeah. it's fun to learn new languages, but you know, it just takes so long to learn.
Yes.
I think next week I will translate some story of Tony to English and send to you to correct.
Yeah,
But
that would be great.
It's difficult to translate because the style of his book is so hilarious. So it's difficult to translate, but keep this style.
I
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be a good practice also for you to
Yeah.
do the translation. Yeah. Yeah, I would love that. That would be fun to read. If you have time, that would be great. Okay, so let's see. Raimi, how about you? What book affected you in your
Yeah,
life?
not only a book. I have many books affect to me more.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's not like when it's not like I have read a new information or new idea in this book. You know, it on almost a book come to me like the answer for my question.
I see.
Like when I gave birth my sons, I began to focus the children education. So during the time I take care him, I realized some information or some experience about the children, and but I can collect it or I can explain it like analytics. So in that after that time I made a book, and in this book there are many information to answer to me. Yeah, and I think I have many books to affect me. Most like the book I have introduced to you, Emily and the Education. Yeah, this is the book have a big effect to me, and a series of book of Osho. You know, Osho, I think is there are a lot of Osho book in Hama village. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's popular in Vietnam?
No, it
No?
was popular. Yeah.
Oh.
And his writing style is so hard to understand or something. Yeah.
Ah, I
And
see.
there are many people like him. But for me, I think it's suitable to me because I am on the way to learn about spiritual, yeah, or psychology.
Psychology and spirituality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds great. And Trish, how about you? Is there a book that really affected you, that changed your thinking or your life in some way?
Yes, I have read so many books. Has so many books that can change my mind. But after it, I changed my life slowly, not immediately. Not immediately, you know, just read book and some I change my mind. So I will change my life after that, like that. Yes, like the first book I read after a long time, like the Alchemist. Yes, it's very popular in Vietnam. I think so.
Yeah, I would say so. All the students seem to love this book.
Yeah, But you know, at the first time, I think, okay, it's great, it's good, but I don't think a lot about it. I
Ah,
didn't think a lot about it. But after a long for a long time, when I rethought about it, I think, oh, maybe when I read that book, yes, maybe my life changed again.
ah,
I think so. Yes,
maybe so.
yes, it's like a way, a path. You follow, you go. It's like a flow. I
Yeah.
go. Yes.
Yeah, I suppose after you are in a different place in your life, maybe you can read the book and then you will think about it differently.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yes. You can see my face right now because if maybe I don't read it, I didn't read it. Maybe my face is sad and
Oh, I
you,
see.
you can see you
I see.
will not have a chance to see me right now.
Ah, ah, yeah. I see. So let's see. What is our next question? How about, do you have an e-reader or do you like hard copy books? How about you, Catherine? Do you have an e-reader? You said you're going to send this book by e-book. Do you like to read e-books or do you like to have a hard copy?
I prefer hard copy to ebook.
Ah,
Yeah, because I have some problem with my eyes. So I know some uh, I can buy it. I don't know. Somebody read the machines.
uh-huh.
Yeah, but I think it's better if I read in a hard copy.
I see.
But sometimes sometimes can I cannot buy a hard copy.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, and maybe it's cost a lot of money.
I see.
In that case, I will collect a ebook.
Ah. You know, what's interesting to me is that e-books and hard and soft copy books, like physical copies of the books in your hand, right? Soft copy, hard copy, they often cost in the store the same price as an ebook on the internet. If it's a new book, yeah, if it's not used, right? Used book maybe has a different price. But like if there is a new book that is coming, that it has just come out, and I can go to the bookstore and buy an actual book, it will be the same price as on the internet as an ebook. Many
Yeah,
times.
yeah. I don't know why. For
It's-
instance,
Mhm.
For instance, um, talk about the books. Waking a giant within.
Ah,
The English version is cost double in the Vietnamese version.
oh wow.
Yes, it's right.
But I would think, like double the, you mean the physical copy, the hard copy is double the amount of money.
No,
The
the
ebook?
ebook
Ah,
it
yeah.
costs double
See,
price.
that doesn't make any sense. The ebook, I think the ebook should always be cheap because they
Yes,
don't ship it.
yeah. I thought before. Yeah, I thought like that before, but
And if
yeah,
it's translated, it's probably translated by the computer anyway.
no, I don't know the reason.
Or maybe they had to pay somebody to do it by hand, the translation.
I think maybe the reason is if I have ebook, I will send to a lot of people.
Ah,
Yeah, so if if I have a hard copy, yeah, I just send to one by one
mm,
people. Yeah,
Yes. Maybe you have less chance to spread it.
yeah.
yeah.
It's like the virus or something.
I know it's illegal, but
Social distancing, yeah, book distancing.
yeah.
Yes.
And how about you, Tom? Do you read your books on an ebook format or in a hard copy? How do you like to read? Like on the computer in an ebook?
I really read. I really read book the directly way.
Ah, I see.
Because of, when I read book on the screen of computer is headache. Yeah, headache. Yeah, and yeah, I don't like read book on computer.
I see. Maybe it hurts your eyes after a long time, maybe.
Yeah, it hurts
Yeah.
my eyes.
Yeah, maybe it's good to do like this too, without the computer, so you can have a hard copy and maybe take a walk and go read in the daylight in the park or something. Yeah, maybe. Okay, and how about you, Layla? Do you have an e-reader?
Yes. I prefer to read hard copy
Ah.
than soft copy. Yes.
Well, so soft copy is like is also considered an actual book, a physical book, a real book, but it doesn't have a hard cover. It has a paper cover.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but e-book would be different from soft copy because e-book would be like on the internet,
Yes.
electronic, and soft copy would be an actual, a real book in your hand.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. You know, a hardcover book, you can like hit the copy and it goes do 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 do. You know, it's like hard. The cover of the book is hard. And a
Yes.
soft copy, the cover of the book is soft. It's paperback.
Oh.
So it's both real, like both are books in your hand, soft copy and hard copy.
Yes.
And if we read it on the internet, then we have an e-copy, an electronic copy, electronic book on the internet. So do you like to read your books on the computer, e-books, or you like to read physical books, hard and soft copy books? What do you prefer?
I prefer hard copy book because when I read ebook, I feel tired eyes. Yes.
I see.
Yes. I feel I prefer to hand a book cầm tay cầm sách trên tay này này.
I don't know this word, Layla.
It's technically like she's holding her books like and then she could do whatever she wants at the same time. Yes.
Oh,
Thank
I
you.
see.
Thank you, Colleen.
I see. Okay, fair enough. This sounds good. And how about you, Collins? Do you have an ebook reader?
My parents, there was once my parents want to buy it, and then after that they didn't do it anymore. But does downloading an app count? Like I do have an app that I read some Chinese romantic book.
Oh yeah, I think so. So you prefer to read like this or an actual physical or a physical book in your hand?
Well, if I don't have a soft copy, then I would prefer to use it. But if I do, then I'm done because like I'm really easy to into it. So like I cannot end it immediately and isolate it immediately. So I would prefer to using the soft copy because it, for some reason, it will make me stop for reading those. My mom, like after watching some romantic movies from Chinese, she also buys some books because they have some copies. And then like I read that, but it's not like when I read on the e-reader or like some kind of like I read it on the website more than having like a huge boxes of e-reader. So like it's not helping me a lot. Like it's make me stop. Technically, it made me stop immediately because I really easy into. So reading on the website, like it like make me curious about the next part. While reading on the book, for some reason, I could stop from reading those.
So your mom likes to read the Chinese romance is also?
She likes to watch the movies. Just some of them she buys the books.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I think the electronic books are interesting because if you read a book, then they have these algorithms that will show you all of the other books that you might like.
Yeah.
Like if you read The Alchemist and you really like this, then it will give you a whole list of other books that you might like because you like The Alchemist. And it takes everybody who liked The Alchemist and what else they bought. And then it like makes a big list like this and says, oh, these people, they also read Alchemist, but they also read this one too. So you might like this one. Whereas if you buy the physical copy in a bookstore, then you know, the books are not really set up like that. You know, they're set up by the author's name. You know, like the C section, you know, where every author's last name is a C, you know, so you can be looking at very different books right next to each other, you know, about different subjects. So this is kind of interesting with the electronic books.
I thought C-section is some kind of pregnancy stuff.
No, I mean, like, I'm talking about the author, like the name. They can be the last name. Yeah, A or B.
Yeah,
or
that's
C.
right. Sorry.
Okay, so I think, well, maybe we have time for one more real quick. Let's see. How about this one? Do you sometimes reread your favorite books? Tom, do you ever reread your favorite book?
Me?
Yeah. Do you ever reread your books again?
You forget me, Chris.
Oh, I did? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Oh, I'm right here waiting you. So you forget me.
Well, you know what happened? Because when on my screen, when Collins had the answer to Layla, Collins came up from the bottom, and then I thought we were finished. Because then Trish was there. I know I talked to her. Okay, I'm sorry. Can you please tell us?
No.
Yeah. So let's see.
You make angry about you.
And actually, I prefer hard book than e-book.
Okay.
Because I like to lie in my bed to reading book. And you know, if I read e-book, maybe it's in my phone, it's so small to read. If I use my laptop, no, my iPad. Sometimes maybe I feel sleepy and maybe it's dropped in my face. Also dangerous. Yeah. So I choose hard books for safety.
But you know, since I like to travel a lot, so this is why I like ebooks.
Yeah.
I can have just my library right on my, and you know, also I think ebooks are better. I hope everybody will get into the habits of ebooks because you know, it's when we make physical books, we use trees.
Yes.
Yeah, you can bring some paper back. I think so.
Well, if it's used, if you buy a book that has already been produced, but new books are
Yeah,
going to be made of from new trees that they would have cut down. And so I don't like this idea, you know? So
yeah.
And maybe like
Right.
some of
Yeah.
them are fake. Nowadays there is a lot of fake book.
Yeah.
Reading ebooks like make the reader feel safety and the right of it.
Yeah.
I see.
That's the reason I think I will buy a kind of yeah. It is a is
Kindle.
yeah, Kindle.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is a reader and is safe for my eyes
Yeah.
because it's made by especially oh yeah I don't know but
For your,
it's yeah but
the color.
it's quite expensive yeah.
Yeah.
And is it heavy?
No,
No,
it's
it's
very
like
very thin and
Wow.
like
Right.
a tablet.
Yeah, I worry about your safety.
but you know,
It is
I
it's maybe softer and smaller than a book.
Yeah.
yeah, I have borrowed it one time before, but I really don't like it. I didn't like it because it's like I think it looks like a boring thing.
Oh, the
Yes,
Kindle?
I think so. Yes,
But we can have a lot of book when we
yes,
you know when we travel we cannot take a lot of book
Yeah.
No.
with yeah yes
When I travel,
I
I
just
don't. Yeah, I
bring
don't.
only one book. Yes.
I just enjoy my trip.
no you know when I'm on business yeah
Yeah.
I have
Yes.
to wait
Yeah.
in airport or somewhere yeah I I
Okay,
cannot
maybe you can
enjoy.
sleep.
Yeah.
And be safe sleeping.
Where are you going, Chris?
I have to move because we're going to have breakfast now. We will finish here. So I will post our video online for this morning. And if you want to do any more writing for practice, you should do that. I encourage you to. And then because you don't have any papers for today. So if you have free time, I think it's good to keep practicing your writing, and you can send it to me about anything. Maybe if you are interested, anybody is interested wanting to translate different Vietnamese stories, or like Catherine was saying about Tony, I would love to read it, but you can do anything you want and just send it to me, and I will read it and make suggestions if you think that would be helpful for you. So with that said, we will